everybody. It's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick, here for another Think Tank Thursday. How are you today, my friends? I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Oh my gosh, it is Thursday already, the end of the first week of July. Oh, it's going by so fast. Oh, phew. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing great. Let me get my chat set up here. There we go. So today is the 3rd of July, which means tomorrow, fireworks and all kinds of beautiful lights in the sky, picnics and parties and everything else here in the United States celebrating our birthday. So, happy birthday, USA, and happy 4th of July to all of my US friends. I hope that you guys have a safe and wonderful holiday. And remember, be careful. Don't be crazy around your fireworks and have a bucket of water and a fire extinguisher handy if you do. All right. So, friends, it feels like forever since I've seen you. I actually have been out of town. I just got home on Monday evening, and to be perfectly honest with you, life has been just nonstop ever since. So, we haven't really had too much of a chance to just relax and unwind and get back to the normal groove of things. So if I seem a bit more scattered than usual, well, that's why. So we got home Monday evening, as I said, and then oh gosh, I had my team meeting on Tuesday. I had coffee and card class on Wednesday, yesterday, and then today I'm here with you folks. So as you can tell, just going, 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 busy, busy, which is wonderful, actually. It helps the time go by faster, but unfortunately, it also makes the time go by faster. So, what are we going to do today? Well, first of all, thank you all so much for coming in. As you come in, please feel free to grab a drink. I've got my handy dandy water here and snack if you want to. And comment in the chat section. Let me know that you're here. Say hello and let me know where you're viewing from so that I can say hi back. Think Tank Thursday is not like any other Facebook or YouTube Live that you've ever witnessed or experienced before. This is a fully interactive and immersive event. So every Thursday, I go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and I have a general idea of products that I'd like to use and a vague idea as to what kind of a project we're going to make, whether it be a card or a 3D project or something like that. But the thing that makes Think Tank Thursday different from anything else you've ever experienced is that you get to help me create the project. That's right, my friends. I will be asking a series of questions throughout the course of my live stream for you to answer. And it will be typically a this or that kind of question. This color or that color for the card base? Are we going to do portrait or landscape? Things like that. And as the evening goes on, your answers are what I'm going to use to design the project. So yes, this is totally on the fly, which is a lot different than a lot of other video streams or tutorials or anything like that. This is not necessarily a tutorial. This is a craft along type of thing. All right. Okay, so I actually got in a few brand new products just this afternoon, as in like an hour and a half ago. So I had started opening the packages when the live stream chimed that it was time. So some of them are opened enough for us to look at, and some of them aren't open yet. So we're going to take a look at a couple of things first, and then I'm going to get us started with our project for the evening. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn my camera around. There we go. And I'm going to show you guys. Oof, hold on. I didn't turn my light on. Let's see if that makes a difference. Yay, there we go. It generally makes a little bit of difference. There we are. Okay, now then. The things that I want to share with you this evening, first of all, is the Tractor & Co. Stamp and Die Bundle. I'm really, really excited about this one. I'm thrilled to get ready to play with it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hello to all of my Iowa and Midwestern friends and family and all of you farm folks out there. This bundle is for you. So stinking cute. Look at that. And yes, as you can tell, you're going to be able to use it for all of the seasons coming up, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I love that. So cute. Hey, Melissa, how's it going, love? To go along with this Stamp and Die bundle, I have the Need for Tweed Designer Series paper. And I'm going to open this up here. And let's take a look at the paper. We've got some really cool tweed, really nice texture looking patterns. And the images are so real that you can just almost feel the fibers. And that's just absolutely wonderful. I love it. Hey, Dawn, how's it going? Oh, Melissa says she's a Florida chick and she loves this bundle. Absolutely. It really is a nice one. Okay, we've got some really cool patterns here. So like I said, this is an awful lot of, like, it's actual photos of fabric and it's zoomed in. So you can almost feel the texture of it, which is just fantastic. Now, this paper pack is a little bit different than others. As you just noticed, there are 3 sheets of each pattern. So there are a fewer number of patterns, but there are more sheets of each. So this is really good if you're wanting to create multiples of something because you have more papers of the same pattern to play with. All right, look at that one. Oh my gosh, this one is so pretty. And I think we might use this one, but we'll see. We'll see what you guys say. All right. Oh, look at that one. Very nice. And then on the back side, wonderful. Okay, come on now. That's one more of the same paper there. And then this is our last pattern right here. I like that. Very, very nice. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns and both double-sided. So you get 8 different designs and it is still 12 sheets of Designer Series paper. So you still get the same number of sheets. It's still the same price, but you get 3 each of 4 different designs instead of 2 each of 6 different designs. Okay. Let me show you there. There we go. One more time. All right. Very good. Now, I also got Weekend Adventures 12 by 12 cardstock. This is our new 2-tone cardstock. And I got this one because I thought that it would coordinate well with that tweed Designer Series paper. So I'm hoping that that's true. Pretty sure it is. I noticed when I was looking at the color coordination that there are a lot of similar colors in here. So that's always a good sign. All right. Now, if you don't know about our 2-tone cardstock, holy cow. First of all, it only comes in the 12 by 12 size, and it is a bit lighter than our standard cardstock. And the reason for that is because this paper, while it can be used for cards and 3D projects, etc., 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 it's geared more specifically towards scrapbooking. And the reason why it's thinner is because, of course, when you're scrapbooking and you're adding layers to your page, you really don't want a whole lot of depth to the page because it makes your album thicker faster. Okay, so that's why it's thinner that way. But you can see here, without me creasing it, there's the darker shade and the lighter shade on each sheet of paper. And that's wonderful because that opens up a whole world of different possibilities for you with regard to your projects. So in this paper pack, we have two each of our colors. So we've got basic beige, Cajun Craze, and there's the dark and the light of that one. Hi, Luann. How are you, darling? We've got Early Espresso. Okay. Let's see here. Misty Moonlight. This one's always a favorite. It's so pretty. Old Olive. And Pecan Pie. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so I think that these papers are really going to coordinate nicely with our designer series papers. So let me set that aside. And then because I mentioned scrapbooking, I also got one of our new scrapbooks, and I thought that I would put this thing together and show you how it's done because it does have all of its parts kind of just sat in the box, but it's really, really easy to put together. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. First of all, it comes in this fabulous little box that you could certainly use as a gift box if you wanted to make a scrapbook for someone and put a few pages in it. You could do that and use this as the gift box and just wrap this up, and it would be amazing, right? And then to protect the album itself, we have a bit of plastic over the top of it. This is going to protect that beautiful finish. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, throwing things around. Okay, here we go. And it comes separated out like this. So you have the back and the front and the middle and all the pieces, okay? Oh, hold on just a minute, folks. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that, folks. All right, where was I? Back with the album. Here we go. Okay, so when you open the album box, it comes disassembled. All right, but it is really, really simple and easy to put together. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to take the little posts off of the box here. And I'm going to set these things right there. And I'm going to do the next one. Okay. Miss Barb, are you still here, love? It says you lost me. I'm hoping that you are still here. There we go. Okay, and here we are. Okay, now you don't need these, obviously. These are just those little silicone thingies that hold the moisture out. But okay, the first thing that we want to do is we have the side that's got our Stampin' Up! Logo here. And you can tell when you're putting the album together that it's just a really nice quality. It's a good, sturdy album. It has a really beautiful linen finish on the inside. And I'm in love with it. Okay, and then I'm going to take the other side. This is the front cover, and I'm putting the punched holes beside each other. Okay, so they'll go like this. All right, and what I want to do is I'm going to pull this flap up. Okay, and so you have the holes right here. And I'm going to take my little washer and I'm going to poke it through like that. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing on all three of the holes. And it doesn't matter which one you start with, which way it goes. It's entirely up to you. Okay. And then once I have all three of these in there, I fold it shut. Let me get rid of that banner here. There we go. I've got all three of them in the spots. I fold that over and that side is good to go. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to unfold this side and I'm just going to line those holes with the posts like so. I'm going to put my little washers down on this side. And then I'm going to put the little screws on. And you don't have to tweak them down super tight. You can simply just twist them on. If you feel like you need to tweak them down, you can use a flathead screwdriver, but don't tweak it down too far. I mean, you really don't need to. Finger tight is plenty good enough. Okay, and then I'm going to put the last one on here. Now, Stampin' Up! Has sent some fairly long posts, and you may think, oh my goodness, why do I need posts that long? Because you can see how much space there is here. And obviously, this will not fold down over that, right? So what we do is we just give it a little tug to bring it to the end of the post there, and then we fold this over top. Okay, now currently it looks really weird because you've got this space underneath, right? But never fear, that is what this other panel is for. So you have this piece that looks kind of weird. It looks like a scrap. And this is actually the spine of your scrapbook. Now, the reason why it's done this way is because now you have this much room to put pages in. and you'll find it'll fill up pretty quick. Never fear. And you can get replacement posts to expand it even wider and even wider. You're limited only by the width of this right here. So your album could literally be this wide if you want it to be, right? So let me show you how to put this. If you look at the end of your book here, you've got this little crease right here on this end and right here on the other end. And what we're going to do is we're going to tuck the white edge, okay, that long skinny edge. We're going to tuck it right there in between. And you're just going to tuck and tuck and tuck just a little bit until you get past the white part. So if I were to turn this over, you can see here, there's no more white showing, right? Okay, and then I can take this end and I'm gonna tuck it into the other side. So it will go in, trying to make sure I keep this in the camera screen. Let me turn it around so I can see better, and you can too. Okay, you're going to tuck this other white end right there into that other crease on the other panel, okay? And then as you tuck and tuck, you'll see you can just tuck your fabric down until it's snug. And now I have a scrapbook that has a nice, beautiful spine, and it's ready to go. Okay, so you can see there, it's nice and covered here. It's ready for photo pages, and you can put your pages in here. Now, how do you put pages in? Well, you're going to take this part right here, and you're going to give it just a little bit of a push. You're going to untwist the screws, take all three of them off. Then you'll put your sheet protectors in, lining them up on the screw holes. And I like to make sure that my logo is pointed the right direction and that the openings for the clear sleeves are at the top. Okay, so that's how and where you put them in. And I'm not sure that I have any I'm not sure that I have any right here handy, but that gives you an idea of how it works, okay? And then your album is ready to go, ready for you to put scrapbook pages in and a beautiful, beautiful decorative book, all right? Okay, so now that we have that done, let me come back and bring in the Tractor & Co. Stamp and Die bundle. And I'm actually going to grab one of my magnet sheets. I get these on Amazon, and actually they start out as, I think they're 8 by 10, and I cut them down, or they're 8 by 11, whatever, and then I cut them down to like 5 by 7 size. So yeah, they'd be 8 by 10 because I cut an inch off. So that is right. They're 5 by 7 size. And this is the perfect size to fit inside my case. And this is how I store my stamps and dies together. That way I always know where my dies are. I always remember that I have them, because that's my big issue. I often forget, like out of sight, out of mind, right? So I put my magnet sheet in here. Okay. And then I take the clear cover. You'll notice there are two on your stamps. You've got a thicker, solid piece and then a much thinner piece. I take the thinner piece off and I set it to the side because I'm going to use that to cover it up. And then I just put my stamps right on the case. lined up with the images on the back of the sheet. So that way I have them all handy. I know exactly what I'm missing if something's not there, and it keeps them all together for me. And then I put the clear sheet back over the top when I'm done, because I have dogs, and no matter how much you keep cleaning after them, you folks that have pets, you know this, you're going to get a dog hair or a cat hair, and it never fails. And I don't want that to happen on my stamps, because they're kind of chick magnets. They really are magnets for all those little hairs. So I like to keep those clear sheets just to help keep my stamps nice and tidy, right? Okay, so let me just finish putting these on. All right, and then this, at least the stamp set will be finished here. Okay. And then we can get to work on maybe building a tractor. What do you think? All right, there we go. Do not throw this away. Don't throw this away. This is a really good, sturdy window sheet that is absolutely perfect for making shaker cards and things like that. So don't ever throw that away. I know that you can kind of see the dirty lines, the photopolymer lines from the stamps, but you can absolutely wash that off with a Clorox wipe, or just a little baby wipe even, for that matter. So then I'm taking the dies out, and like I said, I really enjoy having the dies together with my stamps. That way I know exactly where they are, and I remember to use them, and I'm just going to put them in here as best I can. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I can see lots of different things to use those dies on. And that one kind of looks like a button, doesn't it? Oh, how fun. Okay, now letting me get the rest of these on here. We've got some fender wells here. Okay. And we've got more of those little tires, buttons. They look like buttons. They've got stitching, and they're so stinking cute. Okay, I've got that. There we go. This, by the way, is for the canopy over the tractor, if you didn't know that. All right. And whoops. Come this way, tree. There we go. We got our hay bale, chicken. Don't ask me to do that again. That was embarrassing. Not really. I don't mind. Okay, and then we've got our little pumpkins, and we've got our metal parts right here for the tractor. Okay, so we have it put together now, and by doing it this way, like I said, I've got my stamps and my dies together, and then I take the sleeve out and I write on here how many dies are in the pack. So I can see right here there are 19 dies. I'm going to put 19 dies right here and give it a little circle. And that just tells me, looking quickly, that it has dies, okay? And then something that I have started doing in the last couple of years, once I put this back in, is that I like to keep this sheet with the dies. So I just fold it right here at that top section so that it has the name of the dies right there. And this is the item number. So that helps me, especially when I'm doing my classes and somebody asks me for item numbers. I can give them the item numbers that way. And I just slide it in here so that it's with it. And then there we go. There's my entire bundle ready to rock and roll, right? And then, of course, I do not throw these away either. I use these for all sorts of different things. You can actually use them for a really cool over-the-top envelope for a big square card and use this to send your card in the mail. I mean, you know, there's so many cool things that you can do with this stuff. I just don't throw any of it away. All right. That's not true. I throw these away. Brenda, I throw these away. I've got the backing here, which you can actually use to put stickers on and things like that if you want, because this is coated. If you want to use one of these just to have at your workstation so that you can put die cuts maybe you accidentally adhered ahead of time or whatever. But this piece right here, I totally throw away. There's no use out of it. I can't even think of something to upcycle it for. So go ahead and laugh with me. This is the one thing I definitely throw away. And I actually have quite a few of these saved already, so I don't need it. I'm going to throw it away as well. Okay, let's go ahead and do some playing, shall we? All right, we have the Tractor & Co. bundle here. I have the Mossy Meadow and Gold trim, which I absolutely love. It's actually only one-sided, but the back side, that negative side, looks really, really pretty too. So I dare say it's actually two-sided. All right, that's a really nice one. And then I have low profile sparkle dots. These are really, really pretty, and they go very well with that whole tractor theme. Of course, if you know tractors and farm equipment, you know that there actually is more than one type of tractor and more than one brand of tractor, but each brand has its own colors. And it's kind of like Ford and Chevy. You know, Ford and Chevy have the blue and the red. John Deere is green and yellow. Case is red and cream. What's the other one that's Holland is bright red and bright white, I believe. Anyway, so each of the tractor brands have their own color scheme. And as you can imagine, I'm sticking with the very traditional John Deere tractor because that's what I grew up with. And so that's what I'm going to use. All right. So I have indeed with me the ribbon. I've got the low profile dots. I love these. They're absolutely gorgeous. They have just a little bit of sparkle to them, so you could definitely use this for a masculine or a feminine tractor card. And let's see here. I think we need to choose colors. First things first, I'm using Old Olive and Daffodil Delight for my John Deere colors. It actually could be a little more garden green even, but because the Designer Series paper and the two-tone paper I have uses Old Olive, I'm just going to use that. But you'll at least still get the idea for the John Deere. And then you can see that that ribbon works perfectly with it. So that is amazing. All right. And then we need to decide, are we going to do a card base in basic beige? Let me bring that one out. Or are we going to do our card base in early espresso? All right, so friends, this is the first of your choices for the evening. And for Think Tank Thursday, of course, majority always rules. So go ahead and put your fingers on the keyboard or your thumbs on your phone and comment in the chat whether we should use a basic beige card base or whether we should use an early espresso card base. All right. And while you guys are deciding that, I'm going to start doing just a little bit of die cutting, okay? So let me know in the comments, beige or espresso. All right, I see Barb is saying beige. And I'm just grabbing some scraps here out of my bag so that I can make our pieces. Okay, beige or espresso, folks? What do you think? Okay, let me set those right there. All right, it looks like Miss Barb is gonna get basic beige. Let me, oh, not that, what am I doing, what am I doing? I'm using the wrong color for that. There we go. Okay. All right, so we are going to use basic beige for our card base. And now we'll need to decide if we're going to make it a landscape card or a portrait card. Now, I kind of think, uh-oh, where did I put my, I lost my piece. Where'd it go? There we go. Oh, so tiny. So tiny. Don't lose it. It is very, very tiny. Okay, here we go. All right. I kind of think that we probably should do this as a landscape card because I kind of have an idea here for this tractor. And because I'd like to use the trailer as well, I think we probably better stick with a landscape deal. So let me put that there and put that there. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trimmer, and I've got my full piece of cardstock here. This is the 8.5 by 11 inch standard size of cardstock. I'm going to line it up at the 5.5 inch mark, and I'm going to give it a cut. And you can get 2 card bases from 1 sheet of paper, okay? So if I come back in at the 4 1/4 mark, and I'm going to take the scoring blade, so I've got my trimmer blade out of the way, and I'm just going to run it with the score blade, and that's going to give me my card base, okay? Now from here, you can do either a portrait style or a landscape style card, and it works out the same. It's the same size. But I think we're going to do a landscape style card because of the tractor and the trailer. Okay, so I'm not going to give you guys that option this evening. However, there will be more options to be had here in just a minute. Okay, so hang tight. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and just give it a nice crisp little burnish. All right. And now we have our card base set. Okay, now we need to maybe see how we want to do our tractor. So now my next question for you is going to be, do we want, let me just set this kind of how it's going to go. Just stay put. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is an approximation because obviously I don't have it glued down yet, but there we go. So you can see there that the tractor and the wagon really take on the whole width of the card. Okay, now I've got fender wells that I'll be doing here and here. I'll do those here in just a second, but we need to decide, are we going to do, let's see, 2 choices. The hay bale in the wagon with hay on the front, or are we going to do thanks for pulling me through hay? Let's see, hay or thinking of you? That's our good choice here. Hey or thinking of you is the sentiment we're going to put on the front. Okay, so I need you to let me know, hay, Hay, like hay bale, or thinking of you on the front of the card. Okay, and while you guys are deciding that, I'm going to keep plugging away at all these little die cut things here because there are still quite a few of them. All right. Oh, it would probably help to leave it right there. Are we doing hay or thinking of you? Which are we going to do, folks? go. That's one. That's two. One for that one. And this one. All right. And then our tires. You know, I'd have been just as happy if they would have put 4 of those little things on there. Well, I guess that's, never mind. Never mind, not 4, because it's the 3 and the 1. They did good. They did good. You're able to do just one little run through the die cut machine, and it gets all of the deals there. Let me see if that's big enough. Not quite, but it is for that. Okay, let me find. There we go. A little bit bigger piece for that one. And then let's do our tires, of course, in black. Here we go. And then we need this part right here. I don't actually want to do this in yellow because the whole thing wouldn't really actually be yellow, but I kind of want the steering wheel because the steering wheel would be yellow. So let me do that. And I'll show you how we'll paper piece 2 different colors on the same section. So let me put that there. And then let me put this and this here. Okay. I'd like to have music playing in the background, but you know that Facebook and YouTube don't play nicely with copyrighted music. So unfortunately, y'all have to listen to a little bit of silence, but that's okay. We got this. All right. Now there's our little pieces, and don't lose the little circles out of the center. Okay, don't do that. Trying to keep from sliding them off. There we go. All right, and then here and here gets us our little rims. So there we go. Let me get 2 more of these little tires. Okay. 2. Okay, and then we want to pop out this little bit here. So this is our steering wheel and all of that, which we could just leave like that, and maybe we should. But I want to show you what else you can do with it, because I can see, my family, there would be a certain little boy that would look at that and say, that's not yellow. It's not supposed to be yellow. So what do we do about said child besides string him up by his ears? We don't do that. We go ahead and cut another piece, and we can piece it together and make it really look cool. All right, so I'm going to put that on there. Okay, last piece for us right here. All right. Okay, now we have this piece. I'll show you what we can do with this to make it a little closer to the real deal. Okay, and maybe you don't care. Maybe this is good enough, and that's totally fine. You don't have to be quite as persnickety if you don't want to be. But if you'd like to see how it looks, I'd like to show you. All right, so we're going to put those away there. Okay. All right, now, here's what I'm going to do with this guy. Okay. I'm going to take all of my little bits and pieces here. And these things are going to go right over the top of this. But I'm going to be able to sandwich my tire in just like that. Okay. Now, something that I would really like to do, this is going to put it kind of over the top. And again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But I have this little sponge dauber and my Old Olive ink. And I'm just going to go around the edges here. And I'm going to give this guy just a bit more dimension because he's really flat looking. And tractors aren't flat. So let me add just a bit of ink. I'm literally just putting a touch of ink around the edges. So you can see here's the original one and what it looks like here. Now this is still slightly wet, so it's going to dry and be just a tiny bit of a different shade or a different, like it'll just be a little tiny bit darker than the original paper, which is wonderful. One of my favorite things about Stampin' Up! Is their coordinating color products. So Old Olive ink matches Old Olive cardstock, matches Old Olive ribbon, etc., etc., and it is absolutely beautiful. So it matches perfectly. It's good quality products, and it's super easy to use. That's the best thing ever. Okay, so we're adding just a little bit of that color right around the edges there. Okay. And you'll be able to tell when you need just a little bit more ink. When it starts getting kind of faint on there, that's when you know you need to add just a little bit more to your dauber. Start out with what would be the darker parts anyway. So I'm starting out with the bottom of the wagon. And then here on the front where it might have the shadow from the tractor. And then the back. And then across the top. And that way you don't have to worry about getting too much color in the wrong spots. And it just kind of helps give that illusion of a dimensional project or a dimensional item, right? Okay, here we go. Dark around the fender wells, around the base. Okay, getting a little bit lighter as we go. We're not going to worry too much about this up here because it's going to be covered up with our little deal there. But we do want it to have a little bit of texture. There we go. See, already that makes a difference, doesn't it? Okay, now then, let's see here. I want to put that guy there and this guy here. Okay, I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue because it gets me into those tighter spots. And let's see, I'm going to put this behind the tractor. Okay. There we go. And then the little one here, just a little tiny bit. It really is just a teeny tiny bit of glue needed, okay? Not very much at all. And then I'm going to put it down, and I want to make sure that the wheels are going to be level, right? Even though this wheel is bigger in the back, it still sits level with the one in the front. Okay, there we go. There we go. I think that's pretty good. All right, and then likewise with the wagon. Let's go here. And we want it to be relative to the wheel on the front. Okay, looks good. There we go. There, super cute. All right, so far so good. Okay, now then, we need to put our little wheel bases in there. Something like that. Okay. There we go. Let's try to get that a little better. There we are. Good. Okay, and then the little ones. We're getting a tractor built, guys. we go. So cute. Now, this tractor is a little bit different than my Pap's tractor. His tractor didn't have the big old fender well. Here, the tire was on the outside. And so this one's a little bit different, but that's okay. Here we go. And then we'll put that on there. And this on here. And then these on. Okay, right there. And there we go. The wagon, so stinking cute. I am loving that. Come on now. There we go. Beautiful. All right, now this thing right here, that's your seat. You need that. Okay, this thing is gonna go right in here. Okay, and before I put that on, I want to put the little canopy on because that's going to help me line up exactly where the seat needs to go. Okay, and you don't even have to do that. In fact, I think it looks kind of funky, so I may not even do that. But if you wanted to, it would look like that. Similar. Something like that. This is a little squatty looking tractor, which looks really weird to me. So I'm not going to use that, but I am going to put the seat in there because, you know, we got to have a place to sit, don't we? Here we go. There. That's good. Get it just a little farther down there. There we go. That's a fancy tractor with a fancy seat. Okay, now I told you that I would help you out with this. So here's what I'm thinking. The this piece. I just had a brain fart, but the shaft, the steering wheel shaft right there. Thank you. That would actually be metal, probably. But the steering wheel on a John Deere is yellow. So I want to put the steering wheel being yellow. And so what I'm thinking I might want to do, because we also want this part to be silver. So I'm thinking I might just cut the little stripes off there and off there, and then the little steering wheel. So we're going to do just a little bit of surgery on this piece. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut the stripes. I'm going to cut them off of the exhaust. See, I remembered what that was called. I'm going to put that away because the exhaust would be, metal. So we're going to leave that. And then I'm going to cut it right about here. And then I'm also going to cut just the steering wheel. Now this is probably way, way more than any of you would want to go, but I can't help myself. I can't help myself. So I'm bringing in the putty tip from my Take Your Pick tool. I really like to use it when it comes to all of these little teeny tiny pieces like that. And I'm going to show you how I use it. So I make sure that it's got a bit of tacky on the end. And I can scrape off the older stuff that's not quite tacky anymore, give it a little twist. And that will give me a new, fresh, tacky bit. And then I'm going to use that to pick up my piece. I'm going to put the tiniest little touches. Whoop, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Come here now. Now you're going to be a pain, aren't you? Don't do that. Okay. Let me put my glue, is so fine. Let me put my glue right here on the steering wheel of the gray area there. Okay. And then I'm going to pick up my little piece again and put it right there. Okay, on our piece. Now we have a gray steering wheel shaft and we have the yellow of the John Deere steering wheel. And then I'm going to put my glue. Now my glue is getting a little loosey-goosey here. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And then I'm going to line this back up with the gray piece. Okay. And then, give me this one. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side. Okay. And I'm just lining it up, taking my time here. Certainly, you do not have to go to all the trouble that I'm going to with this. This is going to be a card that I'm going to be sending out that will be able to be used to show all the cool details of everything. So I'm going a little bit above and beyond on this one, but you certainly do not have to do that. You can leave just the yellow all intact or the gray, whichever you want to do. And then this piece, we're going to put some glue on the back side of the gray here. Settle down now. My glue has an air bubble or something in it. Hey, Estrada, how are you, love? All right, and then I'm just going to line this piece up with the top of the tractor. Okay, the exhaust lines up perfectly, the steering wheel lines up perfectly, and there we go. And that's pretty cool. All right, now I have my tractor and my trailer. Super stinking cute. Isn't that adorable? Let me grab a tissue and wipe that before I end up getting glue all over my project. There we go. All right. Now then, let's see what else can we do. We want to take the hay bale. I've been doing good, love. Yeah, I've been doing good. And I want to stamp and cut this hay bale, okay? And I'm going to use, let's see, I think I'm going to use lemon lolly, and I'll touch it up with the slightest little bit of Daffodil Delight and crushed curry. We'll see how that goes. I actually want to use wild wheat. That would be the perfect color, but it's retired, so here we go. All right. Is that big enough? Indeed it is. All right. Now, I'm going to bring in my little cushion here. Always, always tap, 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 not smush, 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 right? So a light tap, tap, tap is all you need. And then we're going to do that. Okay. And then let's see here. I wonder, let's try this a couple of different ways, all right? First way is we're stamping in lemon lolly, and it's very, very, very pale. You can see there. And then I'm just taking my daffodil and crushed curry, and I'm just going to kind of flick. We're just giving that hay bale a little bit of texture here is all we're doing. And we're crossing over strands because I'll tell you, these hay bales, it's not beautifully straight and even. Okay, just a little bit to give it some texture, so you can see there just a little bit of extra lines in there. You could totally leave it just like that, and that's perfectly fine. I am going to go one step farther though and add just this little bit. And I'm going very light in my strokes here, very light wispy strokes. Okay, and you'll actually be able to see it a whole lot better here with the other color, because it is a bit darker, and you'll be able to see much better what I'm doing here. But I'm just kind of wisping it on to give it some texture. Again, not something you have to do, but you'll see how much of a difference that makes. See, that looks more like an actual pile of hay. I guess it's not even really a hay bale, it's just a big old pile of hay. All right, the other thing that you could do is you could take the inks. Let's see here. Crushed Curry, Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to ink up with my Lemon Lolly. And I'm going to see what that little black spot is because it's going to drive me absolutely bonkers. Come on. Oh, for Pete's sake. All right. That didn't work out very well for me, and I'll have to deal with it. What's the little crown thing next to my name? I'm not really sure, darling. I don't see a crown thing on this end, but I'm looking through my Restream deal, so I'm not sure. Okay, so what I'm doing is I tap, tap, tap on the Lemon Lolly, and then I'm just going to brush in a little bit of the other colors. So I'm going to take my Daffodil Delight, okay, and I'm going to kind of tap around like that. And then I'm going to take my Crushed Curry and do the same thing. Okay. And let's see. All right, so this one, if I can get it to show up, there we go. This one is done with the little daubers, just kind of sponging in some bits of the color there. It was a lot quicker to do than this one. This one was done with the Lemon Lolly base and then the Stampin' Right markers instead. And you can see that that is just super cool. Both of them would work very well. I don't think that one would necessarily be any better per se than the other. It's just based on what you like best. Let me get my hay bale die cut out, or my straw pile, whatever you want to call it. Okay, there we go. All right, and then that's gonna go right there. Okay, like that. All right, now let's see here. I get a stamp here and this. Okay. Alright, got that. Let me grab a couple of white layers here. Okay. Estrada asks, are you still selling your mystery Stampin' Up! Boxes? Estrada, yes. I actually am putting together more and more mystery stamping boxes as we speak, because I have been going through even more of my stuff, and am purging out like you would not believe so that I can make room for new things, right? So, yes, the answer is yes. So, for $99, you can get a medium flat rate box shipped to your door, and it is full of like hundreds of dollars worth of product. Now, the product is all retired product. It may be brand new, never having been opened, never having been used, or it may be slightly used, or there may be, like embellishments that are only half a package, or ribbon that's got some taken off of it, or whatever. But even still, I pack the boxes full of goodies. And so each box has several stamp sets. Many of them have bundles, punches, embellishments, ribbon, designer series paper, cardstock, etc., packaging, treat holders, all kinds of stuff. Like I said, literally hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. And I think it's a really good price for all the stuff that you get. And I try to kind of have some things that coordinate in there, so you're not just getting all of things that don't coordinate at all. You will have a lot of things that are like that, but I do try to put some things that coordinate as well. So, if that's something that you're interested in, you can let me know, and I would be more than happy to get some stuff out to you. It'd be a lot of fun. All right, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to kind of build a scene here, okay? And so one thing that I want to do, let me find my scrap paper, is I want to take this and I'm going to bring in, oh, where, just a little bit of a dirt road, just a little bit of a dirt road. Okay, yes, here we go. I'm going to start out with a little bit of gray granite. I'm going to take one of my blending brushes, just go around the outer edges of the ink pad, tap it off just a little bit before I start working, and then I'm going to just kind of swirl. Oh, this brush is rough. That's okay. We'll make it work. You can see the streaks in there, and that's what I'm talking about with it being rough. I actually need to wash this brush. The bristles have gone stiff on me. But that's okay because this is a dirt road. So we're going to make it look like it's working out for us here. Okay. We'll take that one. And as long as this one's a little softer, yes. Okay. And then bring in that brown. And this is going to help kind of work it in a little bit better. This is pecan pie. So I started out with gray granite, and now I'm bringing in pecan pie. Okay. And then I want to bring in a little bit of that old olive. Okay. And as you can see, I'm working that olive down into the brown just a bit here. Okay. There we go. All right. And then let me bring in a little bit of Pool Party. Would be nice if this stamp set had a cloud or two in it, but that is okay. There we go. Okay, now we've got a nice little farmland. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to bring that old olive back in, and I'm going to bring these corn stalks in. All right, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to put them right here at the edge of the green, okay? So I want them to be a little bit into the green area, right? Because obviously they're not floating in the sky, but just like that. And then let's fill this bad boy up. There we go. And then let me grab probably Daffodil Delight. And bring it down where I can see. The corn lines up nicely. Look at that. So cute. I love it. All right. And then this one. There we go. And this one. Check it out. Isn't that cool? Beautiful. All right. Now then, set that off to the side. Move these out of the way. Okay, now this gives us a basic idea. Got our card base here. We've got our tractor. We need to put the hay in there. Okay, and then I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of my tractor here. There we go. Okay, and there we go. I think that'll be good. All right. Now then, next question for you. Do we want to put this panel directly onto the backing, or would you like to maybe utilize some of this designer series paper? And let's see, either this one or This one I feel like would be a really good match. If we were to do this one, it would look about like this. Granted, you're not going to see much of the pattern. I can cut this down just a little bit, but I think that that's probably about as much as you'd want to see. So there's that one. And then here's this one. And this is literally just a matter of giving you some texture on the card. That's pretty much its entire sole purpose. And then here's that one. Okay. So the question is, are we going to put a layer of DSP behind it, or are we going to leave it with just cardstock? Okay. So comment and let me know, are we going to add DSP or no DSP? All right. And while you guys are deciding that, I'm going to clean things up just a little bit here. There we go. All right. The green one. Okay. All right. I got a vote for the green one. Okie dokie. Here we go. All right, so let me just trim one of these off. And I'm going to trim this at 4 1/8 of an inch by 5 3/8 of an inch. And that's going to leave just a skinny little border for the card base itself. And while you guys are debating there, so here's the green, and I would trim my white panel down just a little bit, but there's the green. Stay still now. Okay, or we could do the neutral. Like that. Right? Or none at all. Okay. Now let me go ahead and put these pieces on. So that's one less thing I'm fussing with. There we go. Now it'll stay put. All right, so are we doing no DSP background, or are we doing a DSP background? I think maybe if it's just that little bitty strip, I think that green does add just a little pop of color there, like that. Okay, so here's what I like to do, because we're really not using very much of that DSP to actually show, right? We're only using the tiny little edge. And that means that the entire center of this is getting wasted, which kills me. I hate wasting paper. So what I want to do is, let's see here. I'm gonna grab my dies here. I love these dies. The Stylish Shapes dies here are absolutely fabulous. I use them so much. And when I have big pieces that I'm going to have a lot of wasted space, I like to come in and bring my dies in and see if I can't maybe salvage some of it. So let's see, that's a little too big, but I can do that. And I think I can probably even, I can. So I can do all three of these in that space and still have some left over. So I'll show you what I mean here. Let me put this on my cutter. And basically, I want to make sure that I'm leaving like 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So that way, you know, I don't have to worry about the edges of my die cut space showing. All right. And so when I have these here, I take them out, and now I have these little pieces that I can use for something else later. And maybe even we want to use that there. Who knows? Okay, so I have those pieces cut out. I put those away in my use later bin. There we go. All right, so these I don't need right now. And then this piece, I'm going to grab my tape runner. And I'm going to put this one just a little bit here and here. Okay. I'm going to line it up. Okay. And now, unless you saw me cut it, you would have no idea that there were holes behind that, would you? And now I've not wasted all of that valuable real estate for paper. I have it saved for little die cut pieces, and I can use those for another project later. Or maybe, like I said, maybe I'll use one of them for this project. So there we have just our little layered piece. And then I'll go ahead and attach this to the card, and no one will ever even know that there are holes back there. Okay. Now I always want to make sure that I'm checking to see that my card is facing the right direction. And then let's put our piece on just like so. There we go. Tack it down well. And we have our card front situated, right? There we go. Okay, and then let me get that out of my way. And I want to bring in that one little strip because it actually does kind of look cool. So I don't know if maybe we want to use that or not. Okay, camera, kind of get a focus here. There we go. Like that, right? Isn't that adorable? Okay, now then, we need to decide, oh, we're using the word hey. I love that. Okay, and maybe we want to do a little chicken. Okay. All right, and I want to grab one of my little strips of cardstock scrap here. So let's see if I can find a little, there we go, a little 1/2-inch strip would be nice. All right, and I think for this one, we want to use black. Okay. I'm really trying to resist the urge not to do this. I guess I didn't resist very hard, did I? Okay, so there's that one. Hey, hey, hey. And then here's just hey, right? So I will let you guys decide which one of those you like better to use. And then I'll cut that apart there and we'll use whichever one for the sentiment. And then I want to take this piece. This is the inside panel. So this is another 5 1/4 by 4-inch piece of white cardstock. And I'm going to put the little corn field here as well. So let me grab this. And then I always like to do something similar on the envelope and the inside. I always say no naked insides and no naked envelopes. And so I want to do the same kind of cornfield here. So I'll do one here. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do one here. And this way, the reason I put it on the flap also is because obviously when the envelope comes in the mail, it comes like this. So it has this cute little decorative thing on the front, and then it also has a cute little decorative thing on the back. So it doesn't matter which way they pull the card out of the mailbox, they're going to get that fun little pop of fun color and design. So I really like that. All right, now I'm bringing in my corn. And there's that one. So stinking cute. There's that one. So this is what the envelope will look like. And also we could put the hey, hey, hey right across there, and that would be super fun. So let me know if we should do that. That's always a fun thing there. And let me add my last little bit of corn here. There we go. Okay, I know, isn't hey, hey, hey fun? It's like, hey, hey, hey. Okay, now I've got my little chicken here, and I did not forget this guy. What I want to do is, I think I want to put him right here, and then also, either here or right here. So it's entirely up to us, whatever we want to do. For the color on him, I think we should do crumb cake, and then we can kind of add little details with our pins if we want to. Strata says you should put it on the flap. Are you talking about putting hey, hey, hey on the flap, or are you talking about putting the chicken on the flap? Let me know. Because we could totally do one on one thing and one on the other, and that would be great. All right, there's our little chicken in there. And of course, we want to add, let's say, a real red comb up here. There we go. And, oh, hey, hey, hey on the flap. Yep, perfect. All right. And then his little, or rather her little beak, because this is Henny Penny. This isn't Roo Roo Rooster. So there you go. And all right, so there's that. We'll wait for the rest of the sentiment on that one. Let me bring this in, and we'll do Henny Penny on the front. There we go. And just a light little touch, so we don't oversaturate it. We're just trying to add the color, not trying to make it bleed through. And then a tiny little bit for her beak. There we go. All right, that's good. And then, hey, 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 for the flap. I like that. That's pretty funny. All right, there we go. Hey, hey, hey. Yes, that's nice, isn't it? Okay. All right, now, what did we decide for the inside of the card, or did we? We don't actually have to do anything. We did put hey, 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 hey. We could make this a birthday card and put it's your birthday. We could do thinking of you, or we could do thanks for pulling me through. What do you think? It's your birthday or thinking of you? Let's keep it between those two options. So are we going to do it's your birthday or thinking of you? Which one do you think we should do? While you're deciding, I'm going to go ahead and clean these stamps. Okay, are we doing a birthday or a thinking of you? What do you guys think? All right, Estrada says thinking of you. I love it. Okay. go. Alrighty. Okay, we're going to put that right there. Tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush. Let me bring it up where I can see. There we go. Nice. All right. Now then, let's assemble this bugger. I'm going to put, where did my tape runner go? There it is. I don't know about y'all, but I tend to lose things even though they're right in front of me. Okay. Here we go. All right. And then this one right there. Okay. Next question, friends. Are we going to just put the hey, hey, hey up there? Or do we want to trim it down just a little bit so it'll fit on the banner? So are we going to use the banner or are we not going to use the banner? Let me know, okay? So I'll just leave it right there so you can see the banner a little bit. Are we using the banner or are we not using the banner? Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think the banner will be very, very cute. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what. I am going to cheat and use my little tiny trimmer here because I have a very hard time trimming a straight line. And, you know, it is what it is. So let me see here. Maybe just a little more. There we go. And then trim this. And trim this. Trim this one a little more because, like I said, I can't trim straight. There we go. Let's see how that works. Oh, yes. Look at that. All right. There we go. Get this out of our way. And you know what? I'm going to throw these pieces away too because we don't need them. Okay. Now, adhesive. Oh, I'm running out. I think we got just enough. All right, and then let's put this on dimensionals as well. Okay, there we go. Now, you know what? I think because of the way we've got this, we don't necessarily want to use the ribbon because the ribbon is a bit wide, right? But if we use our linen thread, that will look really nice. And it's a much thinner deal here. Okay, here we go. All right, now, a couple of things that we can do. Depending on if we're wanting this to be more of a unisex type of card, we can just kind of bring a little bit of this around, something to this effect, and we can put it on like this, and that's pretty cool. Or we can make a bow out of it. So I need to know, are we going to put a bow on it, or are we going to keep it kind of unisex? So if we're going to put a bow, it'll look something like this. Okay, I can't get it to stay put without staying put, but there's the bow. Or are we going to do the little dealy in there underneath the banner? And we can do it like this. We can do it, however. Just a little cluster under the banner. Okay, so which way are we going to do this? Are we going to do a neutral, no bow, or are we going to do a bow? Which one are we going to use? All right, you guys let me know. And we will still put bling on it no matter what. So whether we're putting a bow or whether we're just putting a bundle of thread, we'll still put a little bit of bling on it because the bling is cute. Yeah, keep it unisex. I agree with you. I think that's probably a great idea. Okay, now I am going to tidy that up just a little bit though, because that looked a little rough. But let's go here. So I'm just wrapping it around my fingers a couple of times and then pinching it together. Let me grab my trim. There we go. Okay. All right, and let's see if I can get it to just one tiny little bit more. Come on, there we go. There we got it, just one little bit more. Oh, and then I did that and pulled it right off. That was awful. Oh no. All right. Well, let's see here. I will put just a little bit of glue right there. Come on. Now, a minute ago, you couldn't keep it out. And now you can't get it out. All right. There we go. And then just a bit there. Yep, that's good. And then, hey. There we go. All right, now we got that. Let's go ahead and add some of our rhinestones or our little epoxy dots because they're cute. Okay, so I'm going to grab my little pokey tool. And should we use the green or the yellow? Last question, I promise. Green or yellow? Which do you think we should use? What do you think, guys? Green or yellow? Oh, Janine comes in with neither. Ooh, Fran. Just leave it how it is, girl. It is good. Well, if you guys all agree as well, that's perfectly fine with me. You certainly can get away with not putting any on there at all. And it would be very nice. Estrada's asking, where are you going to put it? Well, you know what? I don't always know where I'm going to put it until I put it. So let's see here. Maybe 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, something like that. Certainly, we don't have to put any on there. And maybe we just leave it plain for now. And if we decide we want to add something to it later, we certainly can. I am really loving that tractor. And adding just that little hint of green around the edges really makes a difference. I think it's great. All right, so we're not going to put any bling on it at all. We'll keep it totally neutral for now. And here we go. All right, so then this is what we've got. Super, super stinking cute card. I'm absolutely loving it. And on the inside, thinking of you, and we've got our matching envelope. Perfect. This will make a fabulous, fabulous little thinking of you greeting card, don't you think? All right, guys. Well, there we go. Let me turn my camera around right quick. Okay, well, there we have it, folks. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's Think Tank Thursday. Thank you all so very much for helping me build my card tonight. It was so much fun. I hope that you guys had a great time too. You know, Stampin' Up! Is wonderful for a great many things, but one of my favorite things is that it brings other people together and you have this beautiful community of friendship, a sister, family, brotherhood, if you will, and it's just so much fun. So it's always more fun to craft with others, and I invite you to get some ink on those stamps and create something absolutely beautiful. And if you're not already in the Stampin' Chicks group, so you would just type in the Stampin' Chicks group. That is the group where you can participate and you can share projects that you've made. And we'd love to see it and be able to support and encourage each other and all of our creativity as well. Thank you guys so very much for hanging out with me this evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a fabulous, fabulous 4th of July weekend for those of you here in the United States. Be safe, have fun, and I'll talk to you guys next week, okay?